I want to talk a little bit about, you said like a perfect dating life. What's your opinion on that? Like, what is the perfect dating life for a man according to evolutionary psychology? Because there's a lot of debate if humans are promiscuous, if they are monogamous, serial monogamy. What do you think is the most correct answer?
So evolutionary psychology is descriptive. It's not prescriptive. So there's nothing perfect in evolutionary psychology. Evolutionary psychology describes how jealousy works in Homo sapien males, which often leads to homicide, but it doesn't prescribe a moral equivalency to it. Meaning, like, evolutionary psychology doesn't say because jealousy is natural, therefore it is good. This is called a naturalistic fallacy. People who don't like the concept of evolutionary psychology, they don't like it what it describes, but they don't understand it's a description, not a prescription. And so because of that, a lot of people get the concept misunderstood. In general, what does evolutionary psychology describe as the journey for the Homo sapien? It is a life of polygyny interspersed with small periods of monogamy. It's generally what it is. So it's like most people are going to have more than one monogamous relationship in their life. Now, some people will have no monogamy their whole life, and some people will meet one person and then just have nothing but monogamy from the time they're 18 to the day they die. But most people and most experience is for Homo sapiens is somewhere in between those two things. So periods of monogamy interspersed in a lifetime of polygamy. Does that make sense? That's generally how it works. So but there's no good or bad. And this is pretty controversial for a lot of people. You're not good because you chose to settle down and get married, and I'm not bad if I chose to not settle down and get married. There's no good or bad. For every person, that's what, part of living in a liberal democracy is you get to do whatever you want. There's also, you can be a Christian and not get married. I know it's hard for some people to hear. It is absolutely true, okay? And also, the institution of marriage has been kind of perverted and bastardized in the last, let's say, the 1970s. Where in theory it's a beautiful idea. In practice, it's become this wasteland. It's become 56% divorce rate. Most of these divorces, vast majority, 4 out of 5 divorces initiated by females, and women are incentivized to leave the man, take the alimony, take half, take the kids, and so it's become a bit of a wasteland. Marriage is not the contract for men that it used to be. The men don't get the things out of the contract that they used to get. They're basically getting sex with one woman, and she doesn't have sex with other men, and then these women are still having sex with other men, and you're able to get that fecundity, you're able to get that loyalty even if you don't get married. So if you're a man who knows how to generate attraction, so marriage is becoming a worse and worse deal. I'm not saying don't get married. I'm just saying in general, if you look at what men get out of marriage, it's way less than they did in, say, like the 1950s or the 1920s. So
Yeah. So do you think dating has become a zero-sum game with all this,
no,
what you
no,
just said?
certainly not. It's not a zero-sum game. Dating is not a zero-sum game. What it is because if a man does something that makes him more attractive, that's better for the man and better for the woman. If you can do something, like, for instance, if your girlfriend gets in shape and she feels better about herself and it makes you want to have more sex with her, that's not zero-sum. Both sides win. That's a win-win situation. So I think the best thing in the world for men is for men to be more attractive. I think the best thing in the world for women is for men to be more attractive. Women are already attractive. Men have to work on their attractiveness. So it helps men and women. So because of that, it's not a zero-sum game. However, for women, because of hypergamy and because women make more money than they used to and have more economic viability and higher levels of education than they used to, going back to as far as the 1970s and earlier, because of that, the pool of men that they have to choose from is less and less. And so as a function of economics, you start to have this smaller and smaller group of men at the top that get more and more attention from women, and this larger and larger group of men at the bottom who are getting no attention from women or very little attention from women. And it creates a problem. And this isn't my opinion. There are infinite studies that show this. That's essentially what's going on. And this is the reason why, there's one survey that shows under the age of 30, something like 63% of men are single, but only 33% of women. Like, how is that possible? How's that possible? And the answer is either these women are dating older men, which they are, or they're dating multiple women are dating the same man, which they are. It's very simple to explain. So dating apps showing data where 80% of men are deemed below average attractiveness. 80% of men are below average attractiveness. Like when you see these kind of things, what you're going to get is a surplus of men at the bottom who don't get that many opportunities with women. I'm not here to complain about that. I'm here to provide a solution. My solution, like I said before, is to become the social hub, to start creating events where there's numerous women in comparison to men, to become more charismatic, more humorous, to be a better leader, have better networks, so that more women find you more attractive, to friend zone hundreds of women. That's how those men at the bottom who are ignored can become a man who has an abundance with dating.
Yeah, man, that's a great message.